We have seen a trend of journalists being intimidated, they're being harassed, they're being beaten up. I was personally beaten up once for doing a story while I was covering a spot in Srinagar. And I think it's very unfortunate, rather than reporting what's happening on the ground, given the situation, given the crisis here, journalists are themselves becoming story.
Journalist community also, जो कभी कभार थोड़ा बहुत प्रोवोकेशन देने की डेलिब्रेट जान के अनजाने में जो करते हैं, तो मुझे लगता है कि इस तरह के इंसिडेंट उधर से भी अवॉइड होने चाहिए.
Journalists within themselves joke about it, that who will be the next to get summoned. So it is a very laughable sort of thing, but it basically underlines the fear or the psychology of Kashmiri journalists. I mean, the way the government has been behaving.
There is a tremendous pressure on journalists now than it was when Kashmir saw a surge of militancy back in 1990s. For example, I don't think anybody, say around 6-7 journalists were summoned this year by the police. It was not just the police, normal police or the Thana police, which is summoning people. You get calls from Cargo, which is a counter-insurgency force, and their prime job is to strategize against militants and carry out operations. If those forces, bring journalists to their offices, it is intimidating, it's threatening, and it actually silences journalists, and they fear they have done something which is unlawful. When the fact remains, the most of the journalists who were summoned even by the Cargo had just reported what was in public domain.
I remember one incident where we just went to cover, we just heard that something has happened, there is some stone pelting going on. So we went there in the downtown, there were police, there were government forces, like they asked us to delete our footage. And yeah, I'm the witness to it, and there were many other journalists. It is like most of the times we see such things like happening, like harassment, intimidation. Though you are carrying valid ID proofs, that doesn't count.
Some of my colleagues actually got to know about a protest happening in Islamia College. So we went there personally to check, to talk to protesters and see what if the protest was actually happening. We saw 2 students being held by the police there, and we started to use our mobile phones to capture I was taking photographs of the detention. But in the meantime, the SHO, his name is Rashid Khan, who was present there, he came towards one of my colleagues and snatched his phone, and in the meantime he was also trying to snatch phone from another colleague of mine, and then he came towards me, and I took my phone and I kept it in my pocket, and then he started to ask me questions, who I was and why I was there. I told him that we are all journalists here and we are just filming. He asked me to show my identity card, which I did, and then he suddenly realized that I'm the same person, and my colleague also, we're the same who had done a story again in his area, in his jurisdiction. So when he got to know about my name, my organization, then he lost cool. It was quite apparent, and then he started to manhandle us. This particular policeman came towards me, and he started to slap me, and also told me at the same time that, okay, you've done a story, I'll show you what it means to do a story against me.
They are creating that they are using psychological operations ahead, like they want to have that zero resistance from us.
Police was knowing what they were doing. They were basically, 1, intimidating me that we were keeping an eye on what you report, and 2, if you have sources, probably they will also get harassed in case you report what they don't want us to report.
पहली तो डेमोक्रेसी यहाँ पे है नहीं, और जब मीडिया की बात करते हैं तो हमें मतलब यू ट्रीट अस लाइक अ क्रिमिनल एंड जस्ट फॉर डूइंग आवर जॉब वी आर intimidated like on a daily basis.
Honestly speaking, I have not planned or I'm not planning to leave, but there is one thing which has quite affected my mind or the people I'm surrounded with, like those who are my colleagues and are working as a women. So I think they were quite disturbed with whatever is happening, and it is not easy. I told you it's not easy to choose this profession and just continue it. So maybe it depends on my will or patience. So I think right now it's all about patience. If I have enough patience, I'm going to do it. But the thing is, I'll also mention that it is affecting our mind, it's affecting my behavior overall, and the people like who are working in this field.
The government says that they have established a media facilitation center for you, but I mean you can actually see it for yourself that for 400 journalists, like you have some 10 computers, and I mean there is no privacy, and we actually do not know that who actually sees you or what you are browsing, or what I mean your mails are. I mean we don't know who watches them, who reads them.
I as a reporter has reported 2008 when there was Amarnath land row. I have reported 2009 when there was agitation over a double rape and murder case. Then I reported 2016 when a militant commander was killed, and 2019. But if I compare 2019 with previous major agitations, I think 2019 saw a state going after journalists to ensuring that reportage from J&K is controlled, unlike the past.